Hey, it's your old pal Slim, and this is 70mm, a podcast for movie fans just like you. With me, as always, is my close friend and artist, Danny Haas.
Hello.
And our close friend and director of gambling operations, Protolexis.
Do, re, mi, Maria.
There's a lot more to come, folks. Get ready. A lot more singing to come. Every episode is connected to a theme for that month, and this time it's 60s month. We've only picked movies from the 60s, and our patrons have chosen this one. Not me. The patrons voted on The Sound of Music from 1965. And you can use the chapters in your podcast app to skip right to that discussion. I was looking up some trivia for this movie.
Were you?
My exhaustive show prep earlier. You know, opening Encyclopedia Britannicas in my house for trivia from 1965. Christopher Plummer, who's from this movie, played Captain Von Trapp. Was not keen on the role. He considered it, quote, too gooey.
Huh?
And he's been known to refer to the film jokingly as The Sound of Mucus. You heard about this?
What?
We should bring him on the pod.
That's the whole quote?
That's the whole quote. The Sound of Mucus. I mean, we saw 3-star ratings coming in from the villagers. Maybe they agree with Christopher Plummer, the great mucusing of this film in our Discord.
Ew.
We'll see.
Wow, what a way.
We have to get right into the big news.
What is it?
Off the top of the show. We've chosen the theme for May. It's right around the corner. It's next week.
Oh.
Danny alluded to the fact that, you know, it was a dangerous theme. Risky.
Did I? Oh.
Yeah, last week I think he said it 2 weeks ago.
It's risky.
We're gonna honor our friends at Bat and Spider. The theme for May is Planet of the Mapes.
Yeah.
Which I think was considered in a proto live stream maybe like 2 months ago. Someone suggested an ape theme for May because there's that new movie coming out. So let me run down the movies that we're gonna be doing. Get ready.
This is insane.
We're gonna lead things off with the OG, Planet of the Apes, 1968. Bardo, you alluded to something I didn't even realize.
Damn dirty apes.
That's what he said in our DMs. He said, "Damn dirty apes." And then right after that, we're not doing whatever the second one is called. I can't remember. It's like Beneath or Escape. Who knows? We're jump starting to 2001. Tim Burton. First time on the pod. Tim Burton, Planet of the Apes from 2001. Everyone, I know we've done a Tim Burton movie. Okay, folks, don't gaslight me about that. Danny, are you enthused, nervous? Excited so far? We've named 2 of the movies. Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes from 2001 is our second one for the month.
I'm actually really excited because I've never seen the Tim Burton one, and I don't know my feelings on Marky Mark. So,
Right.
I'll have my final feelings on Marky Mark after this movie.
You'll find your feelings.
Yeah.
For sure.
He's like head of the Catholic
What?
diocese.
Marky Mark?
I'm not saying you should go to his IG, but he's doing a lot of. Let me pull that word back. He's doing a lot of things on his IG.
Oh, I think I have
I've
seen
never
him pray.
seen you backpedal at a Mark Wahlberg comment in my
I
life.
just didn't want to use that word in particular. No judgment here. This is a judgment-free zone. We've said that since 2020 on this pod. Next on our Planet of the Mapes set list, we're going to be fast-forwarding again.
Yeah.
Rupert Wyatt, Da God, 2011, Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Wait, is Rupert the director?
To where it all started.
Yeah, Rupert is the director.
He's not the lead ape.
Okay. I had never heard
This is the one with, wow, look at this. Andy Serkis gets top billing on Letterboxd.
Well, of course.
James Franco. John Lithgow, Brian Cox, Tom Felton. Ever heard of him? Harry Potter fans?
Yeah.
All right. After that, Danny, can you turn your headphones down just a scotch?
Christ
Don't mind.
alive.
One week.
I'll
We're
just
gonna
read your
figure
lips
this
all
out.
night.
We're gonna
Yes.
figure this out,
Just
folks.
gonna read your lips.
And then to close it out, obviously, we're going to be doing the brand new film from Wes Ball. And the quote for the movie: "No one can stop the rain. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes." In theaters.
Is Wes Ball the director?
Yes.
Okay.
Wes Ball, famously of the Maze Runner films. So,
Okay.
Paul and Chet, ball heads rise up.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
I might have to edit that out. I don't
You
even know
might
if I
have to
can say
bleep
that.
that.
Yeah, you
on
gotta take
Apple.
that out.
At minimum.
Part of those slate of films, Planet of the Apes. Can we get a vibe check?
You know, at first glance, someone might say, this doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
These 4 movies. That's what you would think at first. But when you think about it,
Mm.
there might be something there. Hopefully we can figure it out together.
Yeah.
I mean,
Someone's
to start
got
with
to.
the OG, then to a standalone remake, into what is Rise? A
No one
prequel?
knows.
No one knows. And then we're doing we're jumping 2 movies and just going to the 4th in this
Mhm.
quadrilogy. I mean, phew,
Never been done.
never.
We say it all the time. We have to innovate on this show.
Mhm.
Sometimes we have to re-innovate when it gets too stale, and that's what we're doing. We're also doing something we've never done before on the show.
Yes.
It's a big one.
Sometimes I can't even take
It's a big one.
us while listening. We're doing something we've never done. I proposed this idea. You ever heard of this TV show, The Simpsons? Animated program
Here we go.
that many people have grown up with, myself included.
Mhm.
There's an episode called A Fish Called Selma where Troy McClure, the washed up actor,
Mhm.
gets to do a Planet of the Apes musical.
Mhm.
So I posed the question: what if we did a bonus episode on this Simpsons episode? You know, we haven't done the last. I looked it up. The last bonus episode that was on the main feed was December. Remember that whole month of bonus episodes that we dropped?
My God.
That was a whole year ago.
It was a long time ago. And we'll have a special guest for the first time ever on this show from the Austin Danger podcast. Kev, dear friend of ours from our community, will be a special guest for that Simpsons bonus drop.
This is huge.
Yeah.
His wheelhouse.
I mean, the biggest month of all time. Planet
Yeah.
of the Mapes.
That's what they're saying.
If anyone has any suggestions on other names we could have gone with for Planet of the Apes,
Keep it to
Month.
yourself.
no, I'd
This
love
one's
to hear
gold.
them. The worse, the better, please. So big month. We have a jam-packed show. We got to get into it. We got to keep the ball
moving.
rolling.
ball heads.
TikTok banned, signed into law this week. Danny, your thoughts on potentially losing TikTok from your phone?
I'm
very soon.
pissed. That's as far as I'm going to go on those comments on our government banning.
Save it
an
off.
app
We'll talk
instead
about
of
it offline.
All
We'll talk about
automatic
it offline.
rifles.
There's no way this is happening. There is no way this is happening.
I
The
was
American
pissed
people
too.
will not allow
We
it.
will rise
I'm
up.
wagging my finger right now. We need TikTok now more than ever. We will not go quietly into the night.
Just wait until our live election coverage on 70mm in our Discord. We'll get into this and much more in our 6-hour election coverage. Maybe that's when we finally do video. We'll do video for the election night live
baby.
stream from the war room.
People think we're joking. That's the best part.
Just real quick, we'll say hello to some new patrons who joined at, what's our address? You could do it at 70mmpod.com or patreon.com/70mm. Jacob and Philip got access to the Discord, exclusive episodes, early releases, uncut episodes, and over 50 exclusive episodes just for them, including Punch Drunk Love.
Mm.
I mean, can we talk about that artwork? since that's dropped. Gorge.
Thank you. I guess I should put it in the shop.
Please. People are asking in our IG comments. I can't respond fast enough.
No one's asking.
I'm replying with emojis because that's all I have time for.
It's like a live chat in those DMs.
All I have time for are emojis, folks. I'm sorry. You got to give something. You know, every social media handbook says don't just leave them on red. Don't leave on red. Pardo, did you watch any movies this week?
I was wondering that myself. I took a gander and I did watch one movie. Another strong outing for J.R. Scrolling.
Oh.
This past week, she came in hot with, actually I came downstairs and she said, "Can you put in your password?"
Uh-oh.
And I said, "Dear, why?" And she said, "Because I'm trying to purchase Never Been Kissed on Apple TV." And that's what she did. And then we sat down and we watched Never Been Kissed. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie. Drew Barrymore, 1999.
Mm-hmm.
This movie did not hold up for me.
Oof.
Have you guys seen this movie?
No.
Are you aware of
I'm
this?
looking it up. I've seen the poster.
I've been kissed.
Was this like 2000, 2001 era? Because I feel like of 1999.
Yeah, 99. Drew Barrymore, she plays a copywriter at the Chicago Tribune who's never been kissed, was bullied in high school, and then her first job is to go undercover as like a 24-year-old back into high school to do some investigative journalism as to what goes on in high schools. Does anybody know? We got to figure this out. So that's her job.
I don't want to know.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to know. I mean, right there, it's bonkers. The idea for this movie, but it's classic. This is classic rom-com high school story of the ilk that you would see. So I gave it 2 stars. I was I was struggling. Okay, I remembered this fondly, but no more.
Listen to this line from Pardo's review on Letterboxd. Lily Sobieski of Deep Impact fame in her one other role. That's how pissed off he was when he was logging this movie.
Well, I'm looking at Lily here, and I'm like, she's fantastic in Deep Impact. She's fantastic in Never Been Kissed. And I go to look at her movies, and her career just petered off. Like, where are the Lily heads? Where are her pictures? It just doesn't exist.
Remember her in Eyes Wide Shut?
I saw that. I do not remember. I do not recall.
Jungle 2 Jungle with Tim Allen.
Yo.
Oh, you know what? I do remember her in that, actually.
I thought she was in something else. Who am I thinking of? Who was the gal in Final Destination? I thought that was Lily Sobieski. I have to check this. Final Destination. Hold, please. Boopy, 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 boopy. Allie Larder. That just blew my mind.
The Allie Larder.
Cripes. With apologies to Allie Larder.
She's listening.
Jenna's on quite a tear over there.
Yeah, she is.
Did you tell Jenna about our theory that she was probably wanting to watch That Thing You Do?
Oh, no, I haven't gotten around to explaining that theory to her.
Thank you.
But
appreciate that. Thank you. Danny, did you watch anything?
I watched a couple movies this week.
Oh.
I started off with Late Night with the Devil when streaming on Shudder. I had a great time watching this film. I think my biggest complaint is when they started adding a lot of the CGI effects in it. It just kind of really took me out of it because they're going for that 70s late night talk show vibe, and it really didn't fit the vibe very well. I wish they just kind of kept things as practical as possible. And I just love that movie. I love the story a lot. Like, I really love the story about them exorcising the demon live on the show. And, his backstory is like trying to keep up with Johnny Carson. That was like kind of fun, but I think it's a great movie. I really had a great time watching it. Very close to a 5-banger, but I think I gave it like 4.5 stars. And then, I don't know why I did it, but I watched Rebel Moon Part 1.
Was your morning tea spiked or something that made you want to put that on?
I don't know why I put it on, honestly. I something made me do it. But I gave it 2.5 stars. It kind of sucks. But also, I think for the first like 20 to 30 minutes, I really loved it. And I was kind of like, this is pretty solid. Because they were all like on this before they even left the planet that they were on. I really enjoyed the story, and then it just kind of goes off planet, and then I hated everything I was watching. I didn't like where the story went, and I think the best part about the movie is maybe the score. That's probably the best notes I can give, is I really like the score in it. But,
Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross.
Yeah, there was the two
Done
of
it
them.
again.
But
what did you think of? Well, Proto and I watched this when it came out, and we were remarking how we were kind of blown away by the backdrop technology they were doing. It was like Dome, but like the way that they did the perspective of it, it was just kind of crazy to see. Did you notice any of that in like the first couple scenes? Remember, she's like in the fields working, and like the bright backdrop planet was behind her.
It just felt, I don't know, it felt staged like. So honestly, it just felt like it was back to like green screen again. Like it felt like we went back in time. Yeah. But it didn't bother me enough to where I took note to it. Because I guess I just assumed everything was domed at this point.
I gotta watch the second one.
No,
I keep forgetting that it's out.
No, after I watched this, there's not even like the contrarian in me to watch the second one at this point. I don't want to waste my time.
Wait for the extended.
Zach.
Why?
I have to support
They've already announced. I think, didn't they already announce? I saw that a Rebel Moon extended cut, the cut that he wanted to put out. Yeah, he's going to get his chance.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, anyway. I wonder if it'll get a physical release. I wonder if he has the pull over there to get a physical release of it. Paul just dropped a link in chat. Netflix likely getting 6 hours of Rebel Moon director's cut.
6 hours. Lord have mercy. No, I'm not watching any more of these films. Good try, Zach. I watched, I got a press screening. I watched my first press screening this week. Florida Film Festival. Okay. Thank you. Watched A24's Tuesday. And
what?
It's with Julie Dreyfus. Her daughter is dying, and a bird comes and talks to her. The bird is the Grim Reaper. But after I posted my review on Letterboxd, I got an email from the press people that said, please don't review anything. A24 would like to hold all reviews until the movie comes out. So if you read my review...
first and last press screening. Congratulations to Danny.
I double checked my emails. There were no embargoes. I didn't do anything wrong, but I think things were kind of getting back to A24 and they wanted people to keep their mouth shut for a bit. So I kept my mouth shut. I didn't hate this movie, I will say. So I think it's they don't have a release date yet. It's just kind of playing at festivals around everywhere. So I think it's trying to get the international festival awards going because it's a BBC kind of A24, John. So anyway,
I'm not under any embargo. I could swear I saw a 3.5 star rating. So Danny, you don't have to comment on that, but I'm pretty sure I saw 3.5 stars from Danny.
Yeah, we know 3 stars is good. So
it is very good, quite good.
But from me, anyway,
quite a week. So were you did you have to wear your little news reporter 1940s hat that said press on it with a little thing coming out when you walked in?
Green see-through bill.
Mm-hmm.
I did to sign in. I did all the things. They have a little press section for me to sit in.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was
making
nice.
moves.
They're
making moves.
You're in the press here. Come in. The standby is the line around the building outside. I'm like, okay. I walked past everybody.
Yeah. Waved everybody.
Yeah.
Got some Bunch of Crunch or something.
Rubbed free in their Bunch faces. Of Crunch. They're just giving us Bunch of Crunch.
Free snacks.
I was pouring it on the standby line as they walked in.
Just a reminder, folks, Planet of the Mapes is our next theme, kicking off next week with the OG Charlton Heston. his crazy laugh in that movie. We'll get into it. I forgot to mention last week that we had a family movie night. The three of us.
Really?
We watched The Ring with James.
Holy crap.
Lots of fun watching The Ring. He gave it 4 stars.
Incredible.
That movie just looks great.
Does it? Was it like a 4K?
No, I just like the way it looks.
Oh, you just like
Gore Verbinski,
Ever
the
heard
master of horror.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember Noah in that movie? His like loft, his AV loft in that thing. Can you imagine a world where you lived in that loft? Oh my God.
It's too painful.
Where is Noah these days?
Oh my God, it was so gorgeous.
Oh, he did this right before Pirates. So this was his warm up.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, he's getting warm.
He was cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's getting real warm. I also watched Black Rain. I thought I had watched this. I must have like started it and forgot years ago with Michael Douglas, Andy Garcia in Japan, directed by Ridley Scott in 1989. Danny has this logged. He's seen it before, but I thought it was kind of a dud. I thought Michael Douglas was like total error in casting him. Kate Capshaw's in it though, in like a very small role. I looked it up to see like what the heck was going on around this time, and this was his first role since winning the Oscar for Wall Street. And he took like 2 years off from acting. So this was like his big return.
Black Rain was his big return from winning an Oscar on Wall Street.
Yeah, I guess maybe he was like doing some production stuff.
I do like the Black Rain poster though.
Yeah, the poster is amazing.
I think it's what got me to watch it.
He's like, their 2 characters are just kind of annoying. Kirby says the Burton Apes and Rise are on Hulu. Why is that not showing up on Just Watch? Planet of the Apes. Please check this out. Why is Just
Live
Watch?
fact check.
Now it's on. I looked earlier today and Hulu was not showing up.
See, we're coming into May.
Wow.
They knew.
This is crazy.
Someone
That's
leaked
never
it.
happened.
One of you two
On
leaked
it.
our DMs.
What in the world?
This
Bring
has
us to the
never
bottom of
happened
this.
to me before. I know Bob Iger listens to this show.
Yeah.
Bob, loosen up your little vest, your sweater vest, and handle this for us, please. We need recompense.
Those sweater vests.
I feel like I'm talking a lot. I know I always say this, but everyone says, no, Slim, you're not talking too much.
You're doing great.
We have to give,
You're doing a great job.
thank you. We have to give out our free year of Letterboxd patron. Thomas in chat, is there any gifs of him wearing his little vests? His sweater vest?
He's scrubbed them from the internet.
The low cut sweater vest that kind of like goes down to his belly button.
Excuse me.
It's like open. It's like a deep V
It's called a cardigan.
cardigan. That's the word I was looking for.
They make them that way.
They come like that. Every week we give out, if I remember, we give out a free year of Letterboxd patron. Tag your reviews. Watch along with us. Tag your reviews 70mm pod. Zach is going through some of the 70mm filmography. Just watched Birth. Remember when we watched
Zach, I'm
Birth?
sorry.
Jonathan Glazer, Proto's boy.
Milestone.
One of the strangest movies ever. So I got to give a free year of Letterboxd patron to Zach for watching Birth. Gave it 2 stars. Interesting vision and artistic touches, but an incomplete story. There you have it. Where's the cardigans at? There's no gif of Iger wearing a cardigan? What is Giphy doing?
Maybe you've made this up.
There it is. Thank you, Thomas. Look at that. He's always wearing that thing. That posture
would
looks
too.
very pained.
That's not a real neck.
He's stiff.
That's an animatronic Iger.
That's his wax
That's
figure.
at the Hall of Presidents. That's like the Iger at the Hall of Presidents. God bless.
Oh, yeah,
We're
look at
running
this
late. We
one.
got to get, we'll save all my other topics for the uncut post show, folks, because we got to get into The Sound of Music. Episode 216. Quote, The Sound of Mucus, Christopher Plummer called it. Quote,
Crisp.
Too gooey. Pardo, what's this movie about? Close your Bob Iger tab in Google image search.
I can hear you.
Tell us the synopsis.
Maria is a nun in training in 1930s Austria. She isn't a very good nun because the hills are always calling to her to come and sing. The mother abbess decides to send Maria to a villa to be the governess of retired naval officer Captain George von Trapp's 7 children. All previous governesses have failed due to the children's antics, but they are no match for Maria and her guitar. In no time at all, she teaches the children the virtues of playing in the sunshine and singing in harmony. This really turns on Captain Von Trapp, and he decides to dump his rich baroness for this sexy ex-nun now employee. However, the Third Reich is rising and Von Trapp don't play. Can Von Trapp escape the Nazis with his sexy ex-nun? Stay tuned.
Goodness. Spicy.
That's it.
My God, the cookies that I have on my PC now because you just said sexy ex-nun on my computer, I'm screwed.
Is that what cookies do?
Sexy ex-nun, folks. Now I said it. Now everyone else has to deal with it. I have never seen this movie before this week.
No.
Yeah, I never sat to watch
Your
this
dad
until
never
right now.
made you watch this movie?
He never really like made us watch any movies. He would just be sitting watching movies like constantly. And if we kind of went in, I meant to ask my sisters. My sisters probably have seen this maybe with him. I was probably watching like ECW tapes or some BS growing up because a similar movie was Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. Like that is a movie that my sisters had watched with him a lot. One of his favorite movies. But I don't have a personal memory of watching and sitting The Sound of Music. Maybe I've seen the scenes, but I can't really ensure that was something I remember seeing as a kid or, just clips everywhere. Because like a lot of this movie, you just kind of absorb from various other media, I feel like, and it just kind of feels familiar. Pardo, what about you?
I think I've seen this at least 2 other times. I watched it recently, I want to say, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And then I definitely saw it when I was younger. I don't really know the context of why I watched it, but it was pretty hazy in my mind even watching it this time. I was like, I wonder what's going to happen in this movie, other than, of course, like the main stuff. But in some ways, it felt like seeing it for the first time. Danny?
Yes.
What's your history? How many logs?
I'm texting my sisters right now to ask them.
Are you a
about Sound of
live
Music.
texting?
Yeah.
I love
Live
it.
text. What's up?
I know I famously have said I don't like this movie at all. A lot of it doesn't have to do really with the movie. I had a traumatic experience as a child with this subject matter.
Nazis?
Growing up. Yeah, Nazis. I'm from the 1930s, Slim. My mom worked at schools growing up, and so one of the elementary schools she worked at, I forget what grade I was in, she worked late, so we had to do extended day instead of like sitting around and going home. So our extended day teacher at the time decided that the entire year we're going to put on a Sound of Music theatrical performance of the movie for the school at the end of the year.
Wow.
So every day after school, we would practice, learn, perform Sound of Music scenes. It was an absolute nightmare. And it all culminated at the end of the year. The teacher left and we never did the play.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
So I absolutely have like every time I think about this play, I can sing every song of this movie to this day. Watching it yesterday and last night with Casey, I haven't seen this movie in years, and whenever she puts it on, it's her favorite movie. With the kids, I try to walk through the room as fast as I can. But sometimes You got to see minutes of it. But yeah, I have like a visceral response to this film. So I never watch it. I don't know when's the last time I've sat down and pushed play on this movie. Until now. I mean, this is probably the first time I've actually like sat down to watch Sound of Music on purpose.
Wow. Who are you going to play?
I played Rolf, and then I sang Edelweiss as Captain Von Trapp.
Oh my God.
A double role.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Breaking news. One of my sisters has responded. I do remember sitting in a living room watching with Dad. It's 50% of the story has been told.
There you go.
All right, let's go around the room, have a little chatty poo about this movie, The Sound of Music. It's 3 hours plus film. A lot of comments in tagged reviews from our village. Very long. I think Proto even said allegedly it was 100 minutes too long.
Yikes.
Quote, end quote. I'll lead things off, even though this isn't my
your
pick.
film.
This is a patron vote. Just so happened that it was one of my plan Bs. This movie is one of the most gorgeous movies I've ever seen in my life. Like there's no 4K of this. I think it's on Disney Plus, right? That's how I watched it. It's an HD 1080p John. I had a moment where it reminded me viscerally of Lawrence of Arabia.
I knew you were going to say that.
There was a scene. There's like many scenes where I was like, WTF. But there's one scene where the kids, it's after the intermission, I think, and that instructor is kind of like forcing them to sing out by the water.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a close-up shot of all the kids standing next to each other. I was gobsmacked at how gorgeous that looked. It was so clean. It's an amazing like visual. The whole movie is stunning to look at. Like everything in daylight. I mean, obviously there are like the vistas and the backdrops and everything. It looks incredible. It's usually like always brightly lit by daylight. The scenes outside of the house, I couldn't even tell if that was a real vista behind them or like some elaborate backdrop. Like, is that real water back there? Are they actually filming? That's the shot where I was like pooping myself. Paul just linked it.
You can stay at that house.
Conan O'Brien on the left. You can stay at that house?
Pretty sure you can rent like a room and stay there.
Anywho, I mean, if there's a 4K that's ever released, I'll probably just like pass out when I hit play.
Mm-hmm.
But Proto, what did you think of the visuals of this movie?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is gorgeous. It really, really is. A 4K. Good heavens. I mean, I'm always struck by the opening of this with the shots going over. It starts over the snowy mountain area and then down into like the valleys, and then how it even just swings over Julie Andrews singing there on the hill. Like, I don't even know how they did that.
Helicopter.
Because it doesn't
Nobody knows.
It like comes in, but then it's like right on top of her, as if it's like someone holding a camera right in front of her. It's really really amazing that whole opening sequence.
Yeah,
but I mean,
the crane. I don't even know how they would have used a crane on the grass there.
It's a 100-yard crane.
Well, I mean, the first shot is like an obvious. No, it wasn't a helicopter.
No. I'm saying no. Those could be or airplanes or whatever.
Yeah. You can see the grass
shot,
like below it.
Airplanes.
The shot in front of her. The shot near here. There's no grass blowing from a helicopter. There's no way it's a helicopter. It's something else.
You mean the transition from the helicopter shot to her singing and twirling?
Yes.
Yeah, that was cool.
I mean, it's unbelievably gorgeous movie.
Mm-hmm.
I watched an interview with her talking about filming that scene, and she said they flew a helicopter at her for like 3 or 4 times, and they kept getting too close, and the wind was knocking her down the hill. So somewhere in Hollywood, there's footage of her being blown away.
Oh my God.
Rolling down a hill. I wish they would release it. I thought the same thing, Slim. I think we were looking it up before we watched it. I did, or I don't remember if Casey did, but I was looking for a 4K of this because I couldn't believe, because I knew we had bought the like 50th anniversary Blu-ray box set that came out. It's like, oh, there's got to be a 4K by now. And apparently there's not. And the rumor is next year is the 60th, and then it may get the 4K John. But
it was so good. Do we even need a 4K? I know that's like a heresy to say. I mean, the restoration that they've done on this print is nuts.
It really is an incredible restoration. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I mean, every scene in this film just kind of feels perfectly shot. And I pulled up the cinematographer, Ted D. McCord. He has 107 cinematographer credits to films. His top 3 films were Sound of Music, Treasure of Sierra Madre, and East of Eden. And I just couldn't believe. I just kept scrolling. He was cinematographer on 107 films, which was bonkers. But yeah, this film is gorgeous.
Yeah, I was thinking like, because there's so many shots like in the shadows and just like the pieces of light coming through when she's talking to the Reverend Mother. This guy was cooking with gas on set. That cinematographer setting up all those shots. Have mercy. Danny, why don't you go next? It's top of your list.
Top of my list, I'm going to go with, let's just talk about Julie Andrews.
Please.
I am a bit glued to the screen when she's on it. I can't stop like watching her. Everything she does in this film, she's just stunning. And she is an amazing singer. And her performance as Maria just kind of is probably one of the best in cinema, ? I mean, I couldn't get over the like process, like the transition from her from, you know, nun to governess to mom. I mean, she kind of goes through the gamut, and every scene that she's in and she's performing, I'm kind of in love with her in this, like super smitten watching this film. I know I was going to pick Mary Poppins, which she had just filmed like before this. And I'd seen that so many times as a kid, and it doesn't really stick as like, that performance doesn't stick as much as like this one does for me after just watching it kind of this one time, really. She just kind of blows me away in this movie.
Mary Poppins retire. That's what you're trying to say, officially. Part of your thoughts on Julie?
Oh yeah,
Andrew.
I mean, I've falling in love with Julie watching this. She's radiant. She's very like funny in the little funny moments that she has. Even like when she runs into the abbey at the beginning, past
so
all the other nuns, and you know she kind of stops and her eyes go wide. Like she has so many moments like that. And what Danny was saying too about like how she transitions from like this nun who doesn't know what she's doing to this governess who's kind of like a child whisperer to then like falling in love with the captain. Like all those different parts, she just like moves so seamlessly and naturally through all the different roles and moments in this movie. It's really incredible. I love her. Julie, call me.
I posted in another Discord.
Excuse me.
I said like, wait, Julie Andrews is a nun in this movie? Like I didn't know anything even that much about the plot. I can't remember if I've said this in the show, but my mom was in the convent before she met my dad. She like left the convent, the nunnery, to find love. Essentially, she felt like it wasn't for her.
Excuse me.
Sound of Music.
A lot of parallels.
My gosh.
A lot of parallels.
No wonder your dad didn't want to let you watch this film.
Proto, top of your list.
So my first point is, yes, this movie is gorgeous. I enjoy the music in it, but I do not know how to stay awake watching this movie.
Really?
Let her know.
Yeah, I've seen it 3 times. I think I've fallen asleep every single time watching this.
Oh my
God.
I
fell asleep watching it this time. And I know
what was the situation? What's the layout of the room? Can we hear a little bit of details? The time of day, how you're sitting, if you're sitting or laying.
We got a new couch. I'm done work.
Oh, new couch.
Second half of the movie. I'm trying. I'm through the intermission here. I'm comfortable. I'm just trying to finish Sound of Music. And next thing I know, there's like 10 nuns singing this lullaby and just lulling me right to sleep. And then I jolted. I think it was only for a couple minutes because then I jolted awake and it was the nun like like finishing that song off. So I wasn't that far, but I don't know how to stay awake in this movie. It really drags for me at different parts.
I was glued to the movie the entire runtime. I think I took a break at the intermission, so I don't know if that helped, but
That's what it's for.
I didn't even think it was it felt like 3 hours. There was even like a point where the 3/4 mark, and I was like, what are people talking about? Like, I feel like I'm flying through this thing, you know? And the one thing I was shocked was like how soon, I think by the 3/4 mark, they're together or sooner, you know, like they profess their love for each other.
They're married by
So
then.
honestly, I was like, what the hell else happens in this movie? I just had some kind of vague memory of, oh yeah, I love Sound of Music, but that Nazi stuff, I'm like, what the hell does that even mean? And then like the last 30 minutes are them doing the show and running away from Nazis. So like for me personally, this first time viewing, I was like licking the TV. I couldn't.
Excuse me.
I couldn't
Wow.
stop watching it. Yeah, Danny, were you licking your TV on this viewing?
No, but I'm not bothered by the 3-hour runtime, and I wasn't really bothered by the length of it this time. I mean, I knew there was an intermission. We split it up in 2 viewings. It's kind of easy to do it like that. Yeah, I don't really fall asleep. I didn't fall asleep in this. I loved it, the length of it. I read when they released this film in Germany, they cut out everything after the intermission in Germany. They didn't like the representation of the Nazis. So when they released it, they cut out the whole third act.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
I was doing some reading as well. Did you know that The Sound of Music became a huge box office hit, surpassing Gone with the Wind as the highest grossing film of all time?
That's insane.
Wow.
Won 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director for Robert Wise,
The
our
Robert
sweet
Wise.
prince, Robert Wise.
This movie also premiered with a 70 millimeter print,
Oh my
which I feel like
God.
was wild.
Can you imagine seeing that in theaters? I'd be looking the tarp, whatever you call that, screen,
Mhm.
theater tarp in front of
Theater
the
tarp.
auditorium.
Yeah.
Sir, please stop licking the theater tarp.
Please step away from the tarp. Please. One thing, the next on my list, the love affair, like, you know, they have like the slow build and they dance together, and she comes back to the kids. Amazing scene when she runs to the kids. She's back after she talks to the Reverend Mother. And they get married, and then they have like this life of bliss, but then it's eventually kind of, you know, side railed by real life events at the time, like the Third Reich in Austria. I was like honestly blown away by the storyline. Them like essentially having this like fantasy story of bliss and happiness, and then like real life actually happens. Like, yes, the fantasy can exist, but like this is real. Like it's about to get real, and like fun's over. And they try to leave the house without the Germans seeing them. They go to do the show and they eventually escape. But I guess you could say it's like this kind of whimsical ending, but we don't really know what happens after that. I know it's based on a true story of real people, but like they're just walking up the mountains as a family. Who knows what the hell happens after that? They're still running from Nazis to try to survive. So on my first time viewing, I was like blown away by the plot and how it kind of unfolded over the course of 3 hours, personally.
Yeah, it's so strange and bizarre, really, when you think about it. Because, like you said, it does unfold like a fairy tale for the first 2/3 of this movie, and then it's like this crazy swing into this, you know, we're gonna die suddenly.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like a musical fairy tale to the Nazis may kill us here, folks. We are a flashlight away from death.
Seriously.
It's wild. I can't think of another movie that like unfolds like this.
Mhm.
I wish that, because they do kind of like throw little bits of like seed here and there when I forget his name, the weasel Nazi guy that kind of comes to the party.
Hitler.
He notices Hitler Jr. He noticed the Austrian flag still flying in his house, and then you have like Rolf kind of like slowly turning. I kind of wish it had a better build up to the Nazis than just like intermission and then here comes the army.
Yeah, because even the scenes, I mean, there's some like great writing where they have to interact with people at the party. I wrote it down here. Where he's talking to, I think it was one of the Nazis at the party.
Would you have us believe that Austria alone holds the monopoly on virtue?
Herr Zeller, some of us prefer Austrian voices raised in song to ugly German threats.
The ostrich buries his head in the sand, and sometimes in the flag. Perhaps those who would warn you that the Anschluss is coming, and it is coming, Captain, perhaps they would get further with you by setting their words to music.
If the Nazis take over Austria, I have no doubt, Herr Zeller, that you will be the entire trumpet section.
You flatter me, Captain.
Oh, how clumsy of me. I meant to accuse you.
There's so many like short cutting lines like that. And then it also, when he was like talking to, I can't remember his name, but the guy who was kind of the friend of the Baroness, but he's also running the musical.
Max.
They have that like kind of pointed conversation at the end where how he was kind of perturbed that Max was willing to be friendly with the Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
And he was trying to draw a line that you can't just get away with, pleasing both sides. Got to hear both sides. Like he wanted him to kind of take a stand. I like those little small moments that led up to that. So at least for me, my viewing, there were like these weird comments, the flag scene, him not wanting them to kind of sing. I felt like they were all leading up and building up to something bad happening, pretty much.
I mean, is there a better shot than Plummer ripping that Nazi flag in half?
Oh my God. I was ready to throw my panties at Captain Von Trapp in that moment.
Throw the panties and lick the screen.
Lick the tarp. Let's change it up. I'm actually let's hear a VM from Casey, your lovely wife. I'm going to play it early. We're not going to wait until the end of the segment. So Casey left a VM. This is number 1 on Casey's 4 faves on Letterboxd, I do believe. So let's hear what Casey has to say.
Hey, 70mm, it's Casey coming at you from my closet, the last quiet place in our house. Wanted to leave you some thoughts about The Sound of Music, which is my favorite movie of all time. It's number 1, my top 4 on Letterboxd. One of my earliest memories is watching this movie. I was maybe 4, and I just remember sitting on an end table, like not the couch, not laying on the floor, sitting on an end table with my knees pulled up to my chest, just devouring this movie. And because of my age, I always wanted to be Gretel, the youngest. I thought she was just the coolest, cutest little thing. And when we moved and into a house with stairs, I would do like her little routine on the stairs and like scoot my butt up the stairs. So I always wanted to be her. Because of this podcast, I've started to watch movies more critically. So this time through, even though every shot, everything is so familiar to me, it hit me how beautiful this movie is. Like Julie Andrews on the mountain as an opening shot. I mean, is there anything better to open a movie? I really don't think there is. Everything Captain Von Trapp wears is perfect. Just absolute, wow, smoke show, as the kids say. I always fast forwarded through the Reverend Mother song, and I confessed that to Danny today, and I felt him judging me for that, so I just wanted to put that out there. It's just not my favorite song in the movie, and I would just, I didn't need it, so I just fast forwarded. When I was a kid, the scene where the kids try to visit Maria at the Abbey, something in my kid brain thought that they were being like locked in somewhere instead of like just put back outside. I don't know if it was how like the movie was edited, because we watched it like on VHS that had commercials or what, but I really thought they were being locked up, like they were being punished inside the Abbey. And then probably just to close this out, the most embarrassing thing is that once I had a dream that this movie had a sex scene. So, which, I mean, it could have improved it, but I'm sure it wouldn't be known as the family classic if that were true. But anyways, thanks for covering this. I'm so happy. This voicemail's too long, but it's okay. I know a guy, he said it was fine. Bye.
I did not.
So will you be purchasing the wardrobe of Captain? Maybe you already own the wardrobe of Captain Von Trapp.
Sitting
somewhere in a closet.
wardrobe around my house is my business. Okay.
Wow, I can't believe she fast forwards to the Reverend Mother song. I actually love. I mean, that entire scene I loved.
That's where you got to take a nap.
That's the nap scene.
Frodo's passed out by that point on his new couch. Like she talks about how I wrote that line down. These walls were not built to shut out problems, and then she like immediately segues into climb every mountain. I was tearing up during that scene. I was like, this is for real. I will say that like the lip syncing with that actress wasn't ideal. So I kind of almost had to close my eyes and just listen to it and tear up. So there you have it.
She had no facial expression hitting that high note at the end. It was amazing.
Well, yeah, I would have gone in for another take or 10 maybe with her.
Just give us a little bit.
I mean, even Von Trapp, when he was like, quote, singing, there was a couple times it looked like his mouth was barely even moving. Can you put a little bit more effort into this, Plumber? Please.
I wonder if her comments about the kids being locked up, I watched a documentary today on it, and the nuns wouldn't let them film inside of the convent in the real place. They could only film up to the gate. And so they had to build the inside of the convent on a soundstage. And so like when they walk through and then greet the kids, it's like two like literal different locations. One's a soundstage in LA and then one's, in Salzburg.
How about that like cemetery inside the building too?
That was a
like
set
internal
too.
cemetery.
I wish that was real. Yeah, that was badass.
I think it's Proto's turn, maybe.
I love Maria's relationship with the children. She really is. This character has this, innate ability to communicate with children and like get them to listen to her, and the way she like really mesmerizes them and like hypnotizes them with her music and just her personality and like everything about her. There are people who are like this with kids, who they can like just zone in and connect with them in like an amazing way. And I think like that kind of person is really like this example of Maria doing that with these kids is really fun and incredible to watch. So I've always really enjoyed that part. I love the scene where I think it's like the first night or whatever, where they have dinner and, they're all sitting there and like she won't bring up what the kids did. And she like kind of makes them all feel guilty all at the same time and just kind of like owns them. She like in the softest way possible. Yeah, in the softest way possible, like she becomes the boss immediately. I love that.
I like the scene with the thunderstorm when right before they sing My Favorite Things, where you see that she's almost a bit put out. Like, my day is done. I'm trying to go to bed. Liesl has just climbed through my window soaking wet from seeing Rolf. She's lying to me. And then all the kids are like, she's like, F it, let's sing another song. Here's My Favorite Things. Oh, I love that. Because it's like, here we go. Time for another one.
How about when she pulls the curtains down and makes them all outfits? I mean, how long realistically would that have taken to make them outfits of those curtains? A month? For God's sake?
He was gone for a month, so maybe.
That's true. I think I might have skipped over Danny.
It's okay. I was going to bring up since it's a musical, I was going to bring up the songs. I think besides Climb Every Mountain, I think it's actually fine. Every song is a banger in this film. It is all of them feel iconic, and I just can't get over it. How you can write. I mean, it almost feels like Disney Renaissance era, where every song in this movie is, like it's going to be on like the 90s greatest hits or whatever. But I can't get over like every song, every iteration of like Edelweiss sung in this. And then when she's doing the marionette puppet show, like I know I know the songs, but there's just something about each and every one where you're watching this incredibly gorgeous film already, and then you're watching it performed by Julie Andrews, who's perfection already. So I just can't get over it. Like, I can't get over how they could have written like so many absolute bangers for this one film. It's just the music in this kind of is perfect.
I mean, Rodgers and Hammerstein, they have like such a huge, like Oklahoma, Carousel, South Pacific, The King and I, The Sound of Music, Cinderella. Wow.
Insane.
Yeah. Every time a song came on, I was like, yep, I know that song.
I read
almost every time.
There was something I read about because there was already the stage play. I believe that they had already done. One of the things they changed for the movie was a song that the Baroness sings, and in a part of their like splitting up, she sang a song where she was kind of in support of the Nazis as well. Oof. And Captain Von Trapp dumped her ass for that.
Oh,
I think that was one of the songs like taken out of the film from the stage show to the film.
Title of that song was "I Love the Nazis."
Robert Wise, you know what? I think we're going to cut the pro-Nazi song. I'm just not feeling it.
Shit. Let's see if there's anything left on my list. Going through my honorable mentions. Oh my God. Towards the end of the movie, you know, they're hiding. I mean, the scene where they're hiding from the troops by that graveyard, and the one dude is like hitting every gate and flashing the flashlight. I was like, oh my God, how long this, because he was doing it far away. It was like, is this scene going to be like 5 minutes of him just doing that? And it essentially was. Like, he's going through that entire area with a flashlight. And then it's, is it Rolf? The boyfriend? Rolf like hides and hears something. God, F you, Rolf. But after they eventually, like, first of all, that set when they run down the stairs as they're running away, oh my God, that was gorgeous. Like the lighting on that whole area when they're running down the stairs to the car, cripes. And then when the Nazis get in their cars and then the Reverend Mother is talking to the two nuns, like when they say, "I have sinned," and they have the car parts in their hand, I audibly yelled, "Let's go," and I was cackling laughing. It was so perfect. Oh my God, it is so fun. Hillary says it's so fun. In that moment, I mean, like it's crazy how it veered back into, you know, like whimsy again in that moment.
Yeah.
You had literal Nazis hunting this family 10 seconds before this, and it was like so stressful. And then it just kind of veers back and forth. It's pretty wild.
I just know if that was me with my son Albie, as soon as I tell him to not make a sound, we're all dead. We're all dead. What? What?
Oh boy. Oh boy. We have another VM. Let's hear the VMs.
Fire it up.
Last VM, I think. This one has something attached to it text-wise. Let me see if I can pull it up. Speaking of Hillary. So excited you're covering one of the greatest movies of all time. One I've cherished watching with my mom over the years. She first introduced me to it when I was 8, and I've adored the film ever since. I asked her to tell me about her first viewing in 1965, and I'm sharing her experience attached.
Oh my gosh.
Hello.
Hey, 70mm. It's Hillary from the VHS Village, back with more memories. Yes. It feels appropriate that I follow my dad's story about 2001: A Space Odyssey with a story from my incredible mom, Annie, about The Sound of Music. I asked her to tell me about her experience seeing the film when it was released, to share from her perspective. She says, "My father was big on movies. My mother was not. He was into James Bond, The Great Escape, Topkapi, and anything with action, war, intrigue, and thievery. So he would have my brother and me accompany him to the theater. I saw The Sound of Music for the first time with him in New York when I was 9. Although my mother objected to my seeing any content having to do with Nazis, my father deemed it a vitally important history lesson and not one to be swept under the rug. This was 1965. The Holocaust was only just over 20 years old. I didn't much understand the second half of the movie at the time. I was in a dream world after the spectacular scenery, beautiful music, and the story of the family Von Trapp. Being Swiss, I spent my childhood summers in the Alps, so I lovingly identified with all the mountain scenes. I thought the captain and my father shared a physical resemblance, and that Maria was a magical force leading the children on glorious adventures. I was enchanted. When the movie was finally released on TV, it played only once a year on one of the 3 networks that existed. I vividly remember sitting in front of the TV each time, eyes glued to the screen. To me, it was one of the happiest occasions. Christmas and birthdays paled in comparison. Not a year has gone by since 1965 in which I haven't watched The Sound of Music at least once. Years after I was first enchanted by Julie Andrews, I met the real Maria Von Trapp in Vermont during a ski trip. She lived there, and my boyfriend's family knew hers. We shared a lovely greeting when we stopped to say hello. Thank you guys for giving me a reason to unearth these memories for my parents. Can't wait to see Danny's art. Bye.
Christ.
Goodness.
Wow.
What a friggin' story. My God. I mean, the Holocaust, only 20 years removed. That also is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Yowzers. The Maria Von Trapp makes a cameo in the film, I found out. In the scene where, what's the song she's singing when she's leaving the convent, heading off? Anyway, she walks through the town and in the archway, the I Have Confidence song. She walks through an archway and then Maria walks kind of like across behind her, the actual Maria Von Trapp in the film.
Wow. What a VM. When is Hillary starting a pod or some kind of audio-related endeavor that we can listen to? That's the main question I have.
That was a great story.
I mean, I can just give my final thoughts if it wasn't apparent already. I love this movie. 5 stars. I had an amazing time sitting. I was laughing. I was, tearing up watching this movie. I had no problems with the runtime. Honestly, I'd love to have James watch this now.
Oh.
I don't know if he's really ever seen a musical that he would remember anyway. Be interested to see his thoughts, what he picks out about this movie. Danny.
Let me see. What else do I have written down? The nun singing Maria, which is a song that shits on her. And then they actually sing a reprise of it while she's walking down the aisle, which I feel like was a bit odd, but okay. I hate
How about
Rolf.
the visuals of that wedding too?
It's
Camera tracking
wedding.
her in and the outside. Wow,
Insane wedding. I had half a thought written down about Von Trapp bringing home the Baroness, but not telling her that he has a smoking hot nun governess also living at his house. How is that going to work out for you, Georg? Yeah, that's kind of it. I fell in love with this film. I'm glad to have gotten over my trauma of this, and it's 5 stars for me.
Oh,
let's heal.
The healing has begun.
My God. That's what this podcast is all about. We're not experts, but we can help heal your trauma. Okay?
We will.
Sammy in chat, Rolf not getting redeemed makes me lose my mind. Yeah, that was pretty shocking. They have that conversation and Rolf gets set off by Von Trapp saying, "You'll never be like them." Rolf, come on.
That.
Come on.
That's great.
Eat it, Rolf.
Pardon?
I just pulled a piece of paper out of my glass of water.
What?
I don't know how it got there, but I've been drinking out of this glass. There's a piece of paper in there. Anyway, my honorable mentions. Liesel's eyes are crazy in this. Those contacts.
My gosh, no. That's her blue eyes, baby.
I feel like everyone, did we say this in another older movie? Did everyone in the 60s have blue eyes?
Perfect.
I don't know if it was something they were doing with the light, with the camera work or coloring.
Crazy. Maria's wool jacket when she's first leaving the monastery. I could use one of those. How about that giant
You don't
horse?
have one of those. I feel like you have a wool something like that.
Stay tuned.
I'm working on it. I have a pullover wool sweater, but I need a wool jacket of some kind.
My God.
Make moves. Yeah, there's a giant horse fountain. I think when she's leaving the convent and walking to the villa, that is like insane. Like this, like half the horse, but the horse is like 20 times the scale, and it's like water pouring out of its mouth. I was like really blown away by that. So Christopher Plummer and Christopher Lee are not the same person.
Can you imagine this film with Christopher Lee?
That was another thing. Like when I was watching it, I was trying to guess his age. And I was like, in this era, I feel like he could be 25 or 45 and it would just be true. I think someone in chat, I don't know if it was Casey, said he was like 35 or something when he filmed it. I can't guess ages back then. It's like unguessable.
Yeah. The party that they have, I just can't even imagine hosting or attending a party of this scale. Like that amount of formality, ball gowns, penguin suits, this room, this orchestra, the music, the house. It's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
you need
someday.
like 500 employees just to handle a party like that on staff.
Yes.
Also, where did he get his money from? Was that explained? Like, why did he's like
Navy?
really wealthy. Yeah. What's the Navy stipend for this guy? Sheesh.
My other note. Yeah. If I were to walk outside and my 7 kids were spontaneously singing in harmony to me, like I feel pretty proud to have 3 kids, but if I had 7 and I'm like this jerk naval officer and like my kids are like just like these angelic creatures singing, like how could you go on? Just like the amount of pride that he would have for this family that he's reared. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Also, he joins in soon after that, right? Like he gets the guitar or he like joins them, and then I was like, oh God, they're gonna connect with music. Unreal.
Yeah, the way he really turns immediately, I kind of like that. Like he doesn't stay really tough and like, no, I'm going to keep whistling at my kids. He's just like immediately all in. I love that. I agree with everything you guys are saying. Like, I think it's beautiful. Every time I sit down to watch this, I want to like love it, but I do get really bored watching this. To me, it's about 100 minutes too long. Again, I want to love it like you guys do. Maybe someday I'll get there. But I'm at 3 stars. It's good.
Cut it. 3 stars is good, folks. We've seen the hat. We've seen the shirt. Okay.
Yeah.
3 stars.
I'm looking forward to this 4K though. They got to release a 4K of this.
I'm gonna have to have the like Amanda 911 on speed dial when the 4K of this comes out. Just be ready to
just
dial.
have them out in the truck on the street.
Please resuscitate. Okay. Do we have anything else? I think there's another letter. I think we got a letter here. Let me pull it up. My little letter machine. From Aaron. The Sound of Music subject line. Let's start at the very beginning. I know we are all film lovers, but sometimes classics fall through the cracks. I knew a lot of the songs and saw some famous scenes, but never watched it all the way through until a few years ago. I had told my wife, then girlfriend, I had never seen it, and she was shocked to hear I had never seen it. She had grown up on the movie, and it was a family favorite of hers. We booted up the movie right at that moment at 11 p.m. on a Saturday.
Oh my God.
night. And as you all have joked before, this is a long movie, so I figured we'd maybe watch an hour or even less and then go to bed and it will be forgotten and I would not have to watch it fully. I was fully in from minute 1 with my girlfriend singing Maria to me. She then laid down with her head on my lap and fell asleep very quickly. After that happened, I didn't once think, all right, I can finally go to bed. and watched the movie straight through with her laying right next to me. Not saying that this is the moment I knew I was going to marry her, because that was much earlier on, but it did cement I wanted to marry her and be part of her family and what they love. And I ended up proposing not a year later. I sit here typing this email to you all right in front of the Sound of Music poster, one that I got specifically because it is a movie that my wife and I both love. Aaron.
Goodness gracious.
Can you feel the love in this episode? Can you feel it
Yeah,
this
feel
week?
it.
Can you save that love as we head into Planet of the Mapes next week? Oh, Aaron, great letter. What a conversation we've had. Sound of Music. 60s month wrapped up.
Almost.
Technically continuing, I guess, next week. Whatever year Planet of the Apes came out, 1968. That's it. So we announced it at the top of the show, Planet of the Mapes, with the original Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes movie, the first one. We got a lot cooked up for the rest of the month. We already announced it at the top of the show, just in case you skipped ahead. Speaking of chapters, but did you see that Spotify is like auto-generating chapters for a podcast that don't have chapters? Danny, you seen this?
I've seen it. It's doing a great job.
AI.
Does it again.
Pardo, any closing thoughts this week? Sound of Music in the rear view. Orangutans ahead of us.
Yeah. So just a little inside baseball for those in the Discord. I got V'ger Bets is up and running again. You know what? Let me resolve this bet.
Oh my gosh.
Live, and let's see if it actually works. Our rating was collectively 13 stars, I guess. 5 plus 5 plus 3. The Sound of Music. I almost misspelled it. The Sound of Music.
Okay.
Let's resolve this bet. Let's see. V'ger is thinking, and there it is. We have some winners. We have some losers.
Can you name the first loser?
The biggest loser of the week is our dear friend Trainer. He thought it was going to be 10 stars collective rating. He was wrong.
On his birthday, no less. I thought you were going to say that I was waiting for him to appear. I didn't even bet this week.
But look at that. Ismail, he was the only person right on the money. 13 stars.
Yes.
He nailed it.
If you're into gambling, you need to get in our Discord. Proto created a supercomputer who loves movies, but there's also a gambling, completely 100% legal gambling component in our Discord. V'ger Bets, V'ge Bets. There's V'ge Bucks, I think, associated, maybe still, but it's pretty impressive.
We're having fun.
All right, next week, Planet of the Apes. Do you have any closing thoughts, or was V'ge betting?
Yeah, I guess that was my closing thoughts.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
No,
folks.
it's okay. It's okay.
Deflate.gif. We'll see everybody next week for Planet of the Apes.
$70mm is a tape deck production featuring original artwork provided by Danny Haas. Spiritual guidance and V'ger, the robot who loves movies, provided by Pertalexis. Producer at large Dale_A. And music composed by Cinematrix. Prints and other merch are available on 70mmpod.com. This episode was mixed, edited, and produced by me, Slim. Support our Patreon for access to our VHS Village Discord to talk movies with new friends, access to our exclusive episodes in the 70mm vault, discounts on merch, uncut episodes, and a physical membership card mailed to you. To check out other Tape Deck podcasts, find the link in the episode notes. And if you'd like to support our friends at Letterboxd and upgrade to pro or patron status, you can do so with a 20% off discount using the links on 70mmpod.com. Goodbye.
This is a Tape Deck podcast.